Hey guys, how you doing? DJ AJ 101 with you here today to bring you a little bit of an interesting article that I just happened to stumble across. And as you guys can see, it's from Paul Thurrott's Super Site for Windows. And if you don't know who Paul Thurrott is, he's usually a regular on Leo Laporte's Twit network for Windows Weekly, and usually some random other things. You know, sometimes he'll be a part of Tech News Today, or sometimes he might even be part of Twit. This Week in Tech. But I brought you here today not to tell you about Paul Thurrott's Super Site, but an article I found on Paul Thurrott's Super Site for Windows, and of course you can see it right up here. It's T-Mobile actually was trying to be purchased by AT&T, but as you guys can see right here through this article, AT&T has actually withdrawn its attempts to purchase T-Mobile because of some discrepancies that got in the way. And if I'll leave a link to this article in the description below so you guys can check it out for yourself. I'm talking way too fast, but basically what happened was T-Mobile was actually for this when AT&T tried to purchase them. They tried to purchase T-Mobile, I believe it was for around $39 billion AT&T was trying to purchase T-Mobile for from Deutsche Telekom. T-Mobile is actually not a legit U.S. complete carrier. T-Mobile is actually in England and I believe in Europe as well. Correct me if I'm wrong if I have any internationals listening to me. So they are actually an international-based carrier, but also has a U.S. market. I'm not even sure how they became to be in the U.S., but just referring to this article. But anyways, AT&T tried to purchase T-Mobile for around $40 billion, and the FCC and the Department of Justice actually believe that it would cause an anti-competitive practice by AT&T with the merger of T-Mobile, because it would make them the largest carrier in the U.S., even surpassing Verizon as far as market share and subscription through their carrier, the wireless carriers is concerned. So what they did is they said, this is going to cause more anti-choice, and it's going to be anti-competitive, it's going to cause job loss, and they pretty much did everything they possibly could to block this merger. And AT&T actually finally has withdrawn the purchase of T-Mobile because they believe that can't get past the anti-competitive roadblocks that the FCC and the Department of Justice have placed in front of them. So of course AT&T had promised T-Mobile $4 billion. I apologize, I'm looking over here, it's just a couple of notes that I have. But they promised, AT&T promised T-Mobile to give them $4 billion whether or not the trade for their company, the purchase of T-Mobile, actually went through, no matter what happened to Deutsche Telekom. And so AT&T is actually going to be paying Deutsche Telekom $4 billion even though the merger didn't go through. And T-Mobile will still remain the independent other GSM network in this country, which is kind of coherent to AT&T's GSM network, because they both use the exact same, or pretty close to the exact same GSM technology. And of course their 4G, quote unquote, is a little bit different in the way the technology is set up. But AT&T was hoping that this would actually help their subscription base, and not only that, help them roll out their 4G network a little bit quicker. Of course, that's not going to happen, and as it says right here in the article, it actually would have cost AT&T $4 billion to build an entire LTE 4G network from scratch, which they're just starting to build now, and so they'll now be paying that to Deutsche Telekom for the failed attempt to purchase T-Mobile. But I know there's been some talk around, since AT&T can't do it because of anti-competitive practices that the FCC believes. There's been talk about Sprint actually jumping on the T-Mobile bandwagon and trying to get T-Mobile and a merger with Sprint, even though they use totally different technologies with 3G and 4G technologies. A lot of people were thinking that, and it says that in the article as well, and T-Mobile would give Sprint 10% more market share in the wireless world. So 10% more subscribers on top of the entire US cellular market, which would actually bring Sprint up to a whopping 27% of the cell phone market, would actually give them a more competitive advantage, because right now Sprint is holding pretty strong at 17%, which is pretty low actually. It's a pretty strong number for them, but it's pretty low in the market. But some believe that it would actually be more competitive for Sprint to actually try and purchase T-Mobile, because it would give them more of an advantage against the other two big guys, which of course are Verizon Wireless, sitting at a whopping 34% of the market, which is crazy, and AT&T respectively sitting at 32%. So those are the two big ones. They're pretty much almost neck and neck, just by basically a couple of percent. it would actually give Sprint a little bit of more competitive advantage, bringing T-Mobile to their subscriber base, giving them, of course, at least in the mid-20s as far as subscribers go. Because, of course, Sprint is the smallest national carrier of the bunch of all the national carriers. But just wanted to let you guys know this. And what do you guys think about this merger? Do you think this merger should have happened? I personally am kind of glad that it didn't happen, at least with AT&T. I know a lot of people are Verizon and AT&T and Sprint fans. Personally, I hate all carriers alike. Unless there's a carrier that gives me 5 bars wherever I am, whether I'm out in the middle of nowhere, in the basement of my house, or if I'm right next to a cell tower, any carrier that gives me better signal all over the place and I don't have to choose between one in this area and the other, that would be great, but obviously I doubt that's ever going to happen. So, you got to make a choice on where you live, on which one's going to be best for you. But as I said, I'm kind of glad that this merger didn't happen, especially with AT&T. With AT&T or Verizon, for that matter, I think Sprint, I totally agree with that. Sprint would probably be the better, bucket of bolts to jump on in with and give them, a little bit more, a little bit more in their jar, to of course be a little more competitive with the two bigger carriers, AT&T and Verizon. Because Sprint is now going to start building their 4G network. They could, of course, push T-Mobile to, of course, start offering 4G and start building up their network as a 4G network. So, of course, all the carriers will be on 4G LTE, which is going to continue to roll out throughout the U.S. So I think that might be a better thing. But what do you guys think? I've rambled on way too long. Let me know if you think this is a good deal, bad deal, or AT&T should have got T-Mobile or not gotten T-Mobile. Like I said, I personally believe that it's going to be best, but let's see what Deutsche Telekom does next to try and spin off their version of T-Mobile here in the U.S. Because I know they don't want it. They said they want to be out of the U.S. market, so they'll probably try and get out of the U.S. market. But what do you guys think? Leave me a comment below. Send me a message. You're more than welcome. Also, if you would rate, comment, subscribe, I would really appreciate that. I know a lot of other people appreciate that. That helps me out. Helps me keep bringing you guys tech content like this that I know and love, and also reviews and iPhone videos like it's been going off, and MacBook Airs and hey, cameras and all that good stuff. Okay, this is way too long. Have a good one, guys. Check out the link below. Bye-bye.